Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.
Hello. Oops. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Hello.
Welcome. We're glad that you're here tuning in today. If you notice, the screen looks a little different. We're just changing some things around here in our lives. And we hope that you are tuning in. And I can see already that Alyssa is here. Good evening, Alyssa. Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Hey, Alyssa.
So we're going to, first of all, I'm Hollis and this is Sarah. Hi, Barbara. And we're part of Psychic Insights, which is a psychic service that provides psychic readings of all kinds, including medium readings. All of our readers are medium, at least. And then many people do other things as well, like, tarot and astrology and all of those kinds of things. Hi, Solomon. Hi, how you doing? And hi, Michelle. It's great to see you. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Hi, Mandy. So, so we're a trusted service that you can come to. Hi, Sandy. And lots of people, book private readings. And the benefit of a private reading is, first of all, it's more than 5 minutes. And second of all, it's, it's private. It's just you and them. And there's something to be said for that, especially if the spirit has messages for you that maybe they don't want to announce here to a large audience. So remember that there's a large audience to this. And so you may not get super intimate messages. Hi, Betty Cooper and Melissa. Welcome. And so today, Sarah's going to do spirit-led readings, which means she's going to try to channel spirits that are connected to all of us in the here and now, and then try to describe it to the best of her ability. And I'm hoping that you'll listen and just comment if something matches. Hi, Lynette Grimmel in the Mediums group. Welcome. We're glad you're here. And I think that's pretty much it. So go ahead, Sarah. Why don't you let them know who you are.
So, hello, everyone. I'm so grateful to have each and every one of you here tonight. My name's Sarah Redcrow. I started my mediumship development journey 3 years ago. When I was a child, I was able to hear spirit, but when you're a kid, you don't really do much about it. It was honestly an unfortunate thing that happened that got me on my mediumship journey and my spiritual journey. My son, Jonah, he ended up passing away from COVID complications on November 26th, 2021. It happened very fast. And I wasn't ready to say goodbye, so I learned how to say hello again. His birthday is actually tomorrow, so excuse me if I'm a little off today. But yeah, I always share his picture because my son helps me a lot in my mediumship. He's actually the one that helps guide your loved ones to me. So this is, oh, sorry, this is my son. His name's Jonah. Yes, that butterfly just landed on him while we were out for a walk one day. He was about 17 in that picture. When he passed, he was 20 years old, just a month shy of his 21st birthday. So, yeah, he's the reason why I'm here today. And also, you all are the reason why I continue to do this, because not only does it bring me some peace to let everyone know that it isn't goodbye. Physically, yeah, it's goodbye, but our loved ones, they live on. And they check up on us often. And sometimes you just have to believe in yourself and trust in yourself to get those signs. And just remember, be patient. They're still learning how to send signs that you would understand and know. It's just kind of like how when we try to learn a new hobby, or not just a hobby, but anything. I also like to say a huge thank you to Hollis, because when I first met them, I was, I think, about three months in to my son passing, very broken and scared, didn't know what to do. But I had a discovery meeting with Hollis, and instead of telling me, oh, no, you can't do that, because when I told them that, hey, I want to learn how, instead, they gave me the best advice ever. And if you have a reading with me, I'll tell you the same thing, is to trust in yourself, believe in yourself, because that's the one thing about mediumship. It's believing in yourself and trusting in what you are receiving. So again, thank you, Hollis. I wouldn't be here without you today. I also like to give a shout out to another wonderful person, Stacy Siegel Brickley. They're amazing, and they're a huge support to me as well. But I couldn't do it without Hollis. I couldn't do it without my son. I couldn't do it without each and every one of you trusting me. And for your loved ones trusting me and coming in, because just because you trust me doesn't mean they will. But every time that they do come in, it's a blessing, and it just strengthens my belief in what I'm doing and pushes me forward, even when those days where I just want to sit like a lump and not do anything. So with that, again, thank you, everyone. I will be doing spirit-led readings tonight, which just means that whoever in spirit wants to come forward, I let them. And I just ask you, like Hollis says, listen, comment, speak up if you do recognize this person. With that,
let's just acknowledge a few people. And Michelle saying happy heavenly birthday to Jonah.
Oh, thank you.
Haley saying my heart is with you. Thank you for sharing your story. And in the medium group, Stephanie Frontiero is with us, and Kat's Unique Journey is with us, and Sue McKelvey and Sherry Ward. All of them are with us in this moment. And just to give a little shout out and acknowledgement. Hi, Sarah Smile, Marjana, and Karen, and Tanya says happy birthday, and
Thank
Heather.
you. Thank you, everyone. And also, just before we start, I'd just like to say, don't be afraid to ask your loved one to step forward tonight. Don't be discouraged if they don't.
It's great to comment that, by the way, just because you can't, spirits aren't really supposed to penetrate your mind and see what you're thinking, but they can see what you're doing. So hi, Hannah and Tina, welcome. So it's best to just comment. I would love to hear from my dad or my brother, whatever. Okay. And just, it's great to say their name. It's great to speak your intention as to why you're here. Okay.
Exactly. And for all of you who are in our main group, As many of you seen my post asking, I decided to call it Candles for Jonah. So if you want to, don't feel inclined that you have to, but if you light a candle for my son tonight and post a picture, that'd mean the world to me. So anyways, let's get started, because I feel that there are people here that are ready to talk. So I do have a young spirit here. He looks to be about maybe, I want to say 4, 5 years old. He's shorter. I feel that in life, he's saying my mom, that his mom had his hair a little bit longer. It kind of comes to his jawline. His hair is brown. It has a little bit of curl to it. He's got the cutest, chubbiest little cheeks. He's wearing a blue hoodie, and he has on shorts, and his running shoes, they light up. They're black, but on the back, they light up red when he walks. And he's saying that my mommy got them for me. When I asked him how old he was, and he holds up 4 fingers. How I see him, he has the rosiest red cheeks. He's showing me, he has different little toys around him. He shows me a Thomas the Tank Engine toy, and then he shows me that he says he has Bluey, which I think this is a newer cartoon, I believe, but it's a little blue dog. The reason I say newer, because my children, they're older, so I recognize Thomas right away. So when he shows me, when little kids, like they eat candy or something, and that stickiness around their lips. So he has that, and he keeps on kind of kicking the ground a bit with his toe, not necessarily kicking, but like rubbing his front of his shoe on the ground, and he's looking around. He's just the most beautiful little boy. Can anyone take him? I do believe that he may have passed from a long-term illness, because he keeps saying that I'm not sick anymore. My tummy feels better. He's asking me what I'm doing. Very inquisitive.
There's not anyone speaking up for him yet. Maybe they'll be in a little later, or maybe it's not enough information for somebody. I'm not sure.
He is showing me, so he's showing me his favorite things. He says that the park that you went to had a special place where, from what he's showing me, it looks like a water park. So he's showing me that on the ground there, it looks like a bunch of little squares, and water would shoot up, and he's just laughing. He thought that was the greatest thing ever. When he mentions his mom, I see a lady. She has a lighter kind of blonde hair, and I see her laying on the couch with him and just kind of rubbing his back. He was just saying, my mommy takes good care of me. He's just asking me to let his mommy know that he is all right. He's not sick anymore. I'm just going to ask him if he could just kind of step aside for a bit, and then if anyone comes in later on, definitely just let me know. I do have another elderly woman stepping forward. She's shorter, thin build. I do feel she has a very strong grandmother nature to her, because when she passes the little boy, she goes, I hear her say, "Oh, poor Muppet." Like, I feel that might have been something that she would have called like other children, whether it be her grandchildren. Her hair, she keeps it kind of close to her head, and I feel it's pulled back in a low bun. She's wearing a blue, it looks like a navy blue V-neck dress, short sleeves. I see her wearing a gold watch, and she would keep like napkins, like not a whole bunch, but a napkin just kind of in the band. Very kind eyes, beautiful smile. She's showing me that she has a necklace. It looks like small pearls. I almost want to say it kind of looks like a rosary style, because it goes down, and then I see like a gold, it's a round pendant. There's a type of, it looks like a engraving. I'm just asking her to show if she can step a little bit closer.
Well, Marissa says could be my grandmother.
Would you understand on this, where the gold round piece, it would be like praying hands, and then there's this little short, a few more beads, and I see a little gold cross. I'm just going to ask if she can give me any more details.
Marissa says she has a locket.
Okay. Would you recognize the chain, that it's not like a traditional chain, but it looks like little round pearls?
Could be beads, maybe.
Maybe.
But she's saying it wouldn't be a rosary. No.
Okay.
But you're saying maybe you're just saying it's a rosary because you can see the necklace and it has a bead, like it's a beaded necklace.
Yeah, it's
like this. This isn't a rosary, but it's a beaded necklace.
It looks a lot like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry. I should have said that better. I said it looked like a rosary to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel like with her, she's bringing back like the tissue, because I feel that she was dabbing her eyes, and she was saying that like they were more watery. So I'm not too sure if, as she was getting older, she says when she was younger, she had perfect eyesight. But she said that it wasn't until all her hair turned white that she goes, everything was going. She goes, my knees started hurting, my hip, my eyes started watering. She goes, I was just falling apart. I do feel that she did hold herself up. She keeps saying to me, like, to be classy, to be, I'm gonna ask her if she can show me anything else.
Marissa said she did have a lot of jewelry, so maybe it was hers.
Okay.
Marissa, there's something that you might find in the future, because that's happened to me. My first medium reading, actually.
Would you understand? For her, she's showing me. She goes, she said, I took care of the household, but she also was a career woman. She said that in her time that wasn't always accepted, but she is saying that she was lucky to have a husband that let her be herself.
Allowed her to work.
Yeah, allowed her to
Mhm.
work. She says that so when she shows me her husband, and I'm not too sure if, because how she's showing it looks more like a picture to me. So for him, he has this like half smile. His nose, it's, she says, "Oh, just say it, dear." She goes, "It's a little bit bigger." Not by much, but it's more pointed out. He was wearing a fedora. In this picture she's showing me, he looks, well, she's saying, she goes, this would have been in our 70s or so. He's wearing like the fedora hat, and he's got, it looks like a trench coat, and he's wearing a tie. I believe he was wearing a suit underneath it. She said that you would recognize him because he was always like with his shoulders, like kind of like, instead of fixing something, he would just shrug into it.
Well, she did say that she did work, yes, and that her husband was amazing. So I'm assuming her husband is also on the other side.
Okay. So she's just saying too that people would look differently at them because they worked as a team. There was no head of the household. It was both of them. So she goes, my husband caught so much grief because they would say, well, why is she working? She should be at home with the children. And he was fine being at home with the kids, but it's like they took turns. I do feel that they might have lived on a farm because I feel he worked more outside, and I see him like carrying, I keep hearing slop pails. So I see him going from what it looks like a barn to, I see like a fenced area. And then for her, she's wearing she looks a lot younger in this stage. So I would put her in her 30s maybe. She's wearing like a pencil skirt. She says, "Oh, I hated those nylons because they'd always snag." And she has high heels, and her hair, it's kind of like parted to the side and then curled. And she has this like cute little hat on too. I do feel that she might have been a secretary in her younger years. She said that there wasn't that many job opportunities when she was younger, but she felt good just getting out of the house. Would you be able to take any of this, Melissa?
She said that he was an artist from Rhode Island, so there was no farm. But that does sound like her otherwise.
Okay.
Were there animals? Did they have animals on their land, Marissa?
I do. So as she was showing me that little bit of memory from her, so in this, like I said, she looks to be in her 30s, very, very pretty. You know, like where he's carrying those buckets, he's wearing a white tank top. I see suspenders and the brown pants. I really get the feeling when she's showing me this memory, I want to say it was like 40s, maybe 50s. How I'm seeing it, it's every, you know, when you see those old pictures that aren't black and white but kind of yellowish, that's like how she's showing it to me.
Oh, so maybe Marissa, do you know anything about their life earlier? Like, do you know anything about their young life? Did he grow up on a farm, or did they ever have a? Oh my God, she said, I think we still have his suspenders.
Okay.
Well, he
So,
might have grew up on a farm, Marissa. You might find that out later. You might find out that like maybe when they're in their 20s or something.
because
She said
I
they
thought
were always in Rhode Island, so I don't think so. Well, they had farms in Rhode Island. Yeah. Okay.
so it was kind of funny because like how I was seeing him in his younger age, like he had that, like wearing like the white guys tank tops, suspenders and everything. And for her, she was like really dressed up nice, the pencil skirt and everything. But then when I saw him older, I saw the fedora hat and the what like trench coat type. And I feel that like, would you understand for him, he would kind of hold his hat like this and he'd almost like kind of tilt it and bring it down just a little bit. He had this very like suave look about him, especially when he was older. She says that she has a long line, and she goes, it comes from me of the women in our family are very independent, and we're not afraid to speak our mind and go for what we want. I think we still have his suspension. Okay. So, Melissa, do you feel like this is still your grandmother?
She said everything else is matching, so I think it is. I think she might find out about it later. I'm telling you, my first medium reading, person was saying all this stuff about my dad, and he was blind. I was like, impossible, impossible. My dad didn't play pool. Then I went to my dad's funeral, and I talked to his other son. And his other son had left him a pool table. So I'm just telling you, you guys, just letting you know, it happens all the time.
So, the message that she has is, always stay true to you. She says, in life, there's a happy balance. She goes, you can't just be headstrong, but you can't only just follow your heart. You have to find that balance. She goes, you find that balance and you'll find peace and harmony. She says, just remember, she goes, you do come from a long line of very independent, smart women. She goes, I believe I started that line. She's just saying how even though she admired her own mother, I do feel that she came from a bigger family too, because she was just saying, I love my mama, but that just stay at home having babies one after another was not for her. She says, don't get me wrong. She goes, I cherish my children and my grandchildren, but I'm very lucky to have found a good husband who he wasn't confined to just thinking one way. She says, find yourself someone who could do that with you, to just grow with you. She goes, I love you so much. She goes, I love each and every one of my family and know that I'm still very much around.
She said that makes sense. And she said she was one of 4.
Okay. So I just want to thank her for coming in today. I do believe, would you understand she's kind of, I get the sense she's very caring, but once she gets what she wants to say, she's kind of like, okay, I got things to do. Because she said that, and before I even was waiting, she's like, okay, bye. She blows a kiss, bye, and she's off. Again, I do get that she is very compassionate as well, especially to children, because that little guy, he's still waiting here, and she patted him on his shoulder. So
Marissa says that sounds like her.
So I do have another gentleman stepping forward. He's about average height. I would put him about not that tall actually. So maybe not average. I don't know what he's. I would put him about 5'8". He's short. He's like how he's showing me. I would put him maybe in his 30s, but I feel that he had where he tried to make up for his shortness with like muscles. So he's saying that he was very like into health, into going to the gym. He's saying that especially when he was younger, the older guys, or he said not even older, he said as long as they were taller than me, they always like to try to give me a hard time. He says that so he goes like this. He goes, but I ain't no pushover. He almost has kind of like that Brooklyn accent. He has dark eyes. His hair is short. It's darker. He comes in wearing, it looks like a lot like the white tank top from the first gentleman. He has jeans on and running shoes. He used to wear a gold men's chain. And when he's showing me on his left hand, his pinky, he also had a gold ring, and it had a square. The square looks black, and there's a little diamond in the corner. He said that he goes, you got to keep up on your health. From him, I just get this like really not a nervous energy, but it was like he was always on the go. Almost like if he was standing still, he seemed like he was vibrating because he was just like he's jogging in place. Would anybody be able to take him?
Not yet.
Okay.
I just want to read Gianna's message. Hey everyone, I'm sure everyone has their festive grief, gearing up for the holidays next week, thinking of every single one of you. We've got this.
Oh, thank you, Gianna.
I just thought we would read that. That's a beautiful message. Yeah.
That is.
Oh, wait a minute. Alyssa said 5'8" matches my husband. He was 38, very stout. He liked to build muscle too. Dark hair, jeans, tank, and tennis shoes, and a gold chain. Extremely ADHD. Everything fits.
Would you understand him saying, "Hey, doll, how you doing?" I don't know. He's giving me this like kind of like. I don't want to say it is his personality, but almost like a old style gangster, like, "Hey, doll, how you doing, toots?" Would you understand that?
She hasn't answered quite yet.
I'm just going to see. I do feel that he did have a very playful nature about him. Would you understand when things bothered him, it was like he would either hit the gym or go running? I feel this is something that he did from even in his younger years.
He's saying he would kind of make fun of Joey from Friends. How you doing?
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but okay. You know what it is. That's what's important.
Yeah, it's more like so you would understand he'd like kind of make that accent, like, "How you doing?"
Okay.
Was Friends something that you liked to watch and he kind of teased you about? I asked this because he was showing me so I don't know what you look like, Alyssa, but I see a woman sitting on the couch. I can't really see her face. Would you understand wearing like a oversized sweatshirt, leggings, kind of hair in a messy bun? And I see him coming in and he looks at the TV and sees like Friends on and he's like, "Really again?" And then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" And he seems like a character, you know.
She said we would watch it together sometimes.
Oh, okay. He just says, he goes, you know, you made my life better. He goes, even though I wasn't the tallest, he goes, he says, I felt so blessed that you picked me. Were you a bit taller than him? Or around the same height?
She said he was very funny, spunky, flirty personality.
So I just want to say for him, he's sending you so much love. He says that I'm still very much around her.
She said she's actually shorter. She's only
okay.
4'11". She's short. You're only 4'11"? Oh my gosh, Alyssa. Hi. I'm short too.
Me too, 5'1".
Oh, you're taller than both of us.
Oh. Well, dang, I feel good. No, just kidding. Well, your husband, the way I think his way of looking at you were his everything. So would you understand that song, that Rise Up? That's what he's like singing to you. Or that's what the song he's playing for me anyways. He said that, he goes, she was my partner in everything. He says, I want to say my partner in crime, but we didn't do any crime. And he goes, and I don't do the cliches. I feel that he liked to be his own person, not follow what's in style. I hope you can take that. At least that's how I'm receiving what he's saying and doing. He does just want you to know that he goes.
She said there is a song called Rise Up. There's a couple songs by different artists called Rise Up, actually, Sarah. So, and then Alyssa said, I'm not sure. We were literally partners in everything, though. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm not really familiar with the song. I kept on hearing that Rise Up. I'm not going to attempt to sing tonight. My voice is all cranky. But no, he says, don't worry. He goes, I'm still there with you. He goes, I'm walking with you every step of the way. He says, don't be scared. He says, you know that you got this. And he goes, you know that I'm so proud of you. He goes, I know that with the upcoming Christmas, he goes, I know that it's hard, but he goes, set a plate for me. He goes, you know what I like on it. He goes, but I'll be there. He said, I didn't miss a Christmas, so I won't miss it this year either. He just wants to send you so much of his love. And he goes, baby, he goes, I hope that you know that I never truly left. Would you understand that I'm not saying that you weren't mad at him?
She says she makes a plate and puts it next to his urn. Alyssa, there's a song called Rise Up by Andra Day that you might want to go listen to.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So he was just saying, he goes, I know that you're not mad at me for leaving. You're mad at the universe, like just in the whole, because this is what wasn't supposed to happen. He goes, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I don't want you to live your life in that anger. He goes, I just want you to basically rise up. He goes, seize the day. He goes, because you have such a beautiful life ahead of you, and I'm going to be there every step of the way. Would you understand him giving you kisses on your forehead? Because that's what he's showing me. He goes, I know that with the upcoming Christmas, he goes, I know that it's hard, but he goes, but I'll be there. He says, remember, he goes, remember all our good times. He goes, and keep them close. He kisses your forehead, and then he puts his hand towards your heart. He goes, just remember those, okay? He goes, I didn't truly leave.
She said exactly, I'm so angry because it shouldn't have happened the way it did. It was taken from him.
And, I think his message about, letting go of that anger, because he says that you're too beautiful to let that eat you up. He goes, I want more for you. He goes, even though I don't like sounding like a cliche, he goes, I want you to live your life because I'm going to live it through you. And he goes, baby.
Forehead kisses and the hand on the heart resonate. Both resonate.
Oh, that's beautiful. He goes, I'm going to live it through you, for you, and I want you to live it for me. He goes, I know that that's hard to hear. And would you understand? He goes, and I do feel that he's trying to make a little bit lighter of the situation, but he's like, puts his arms like this. He goes, that's it. He goes, I stood my ground. I said my piece. He's like, don't hit me. And he's laughing because he's like, he goes, I'm sorry, babe. He goes, I hope I didn't embarrass you. And then he wants me to let everyone in the group know my beautiful wife is not abusive to me. She's the sparkle in my eye. He goes, but I need her to know that it's me, so I kid. So with that, I'm just going to thank him for coming through, and thank you, Alyssa. And just remember what your husband says. Don't lose yourself in the anger. And I know that's hard. If you can't forgive the situation.
She said he could never be serious for very long and always had to make a joke.
Yeah. He goes, what? He goes, that's me. But Alyssa, don't be afraid to live your life. I know that that's not something that all of us like to hear. I know sometimes when people suggest that to me, I'm like, go away. But what I've learned is that just because our loved ones, my son included, isn't physically here does not mean that they're not living with us. So I think that your husband's message resonated with me very strong too. So I want to thank him for that. And thank you.
Alyssa says, thank you very much. That's exactly what I needed to hear right about now. That's beautiful, Alyssa. I'm glad that you got the message. And I think if you listen to that song, you should make it your theme song for the year. Okay?
That's beautiful. Thank you. And thank you, Hollis, for knowing a good...
I wasn't the only one, actually. There was someone else in the medium group. Like, I didn't see her message till after I suggested it. But she was like, that's the song I thought of when Sarah sang it. It's a beautiful song, beautiful message. I agree, it is. It's about overcoming. It sounds like grief, and I think the music video shows that it's grief.
Oh, so, wow. I'll have to
so it's actually a really good song. It's really powerful, but it's about overcoming something hard. So either way, grief is hard regardless of what it's from. I've heard that when we love someone like that, we trade pieces of our souls so he can see through my eyes.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
The Terry asked what song it is. It's called "Rise Up" by Andrew Day, and it's a really beautiful song. Andrew Day, "Rise Up." Because there's another song I know, "Rise Up," Sarah, that's from the indigenous people of North America, but that's not. I don't think that's the song. That's from Superman or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know that
the
song.
indigenous Yeah, the indigenous sort of rap artist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Superman. Yeah,
Superman. That's what it is.
I used some of his songs and some of the slides that I make for my son. So I do have another gentleman stepping forward. He looks younger. He's tall. I want to say he's Asian descent. He looks to be about, I want to say mid-20s. He looks really young. He wears glasses. They're gold wire frame. They're kind of more like a round or shape. When he comes in, he keeps like pushing them up. I feel that this was something that he would do. I keep on hearing him say, he goes, yes, I know I need to get them tightened, because when he like looks down, they fall. His hair is shorter. It's really, really dark. I feel that he's showing me when he was younger, he kind of tried to do that edgy look. So it's a kind of like edgy emo look. He said that it didn't last very long because he goes, it just wasn't him. I feel that his personality was a little bit more quieter. He's saying that he was really into cars. And he's laughing. He goes, I bet you thought I was going to say like I was into like science or something, didn't you? I'm like, no. He does say I do feel that so how he's saying it, he says, I was all American. I feel that maybe his parents might have immigrated over, but he was born, I'm getting this, in the United States. He's not exactly saying where, but just where he says that, he goes, I'm 100% American. I do feel that like growing up, he really tried to find his own identity. I feel that he might have been a little bit teased. He said that his mom would make such amazing traditional meals, but when she'd pack it in his lunch at school, he'd be made fun of. So he kind of started like pushing away from his own culture and doing more of what everyone else was doing. He's making me get the sense that is kind of he says from 10 to about like 16. In those years, that's where he was like really like, no, I don't want anything to do with like my traditions. But then when he kind of went off, he's saying he did go to college, and that he says where I was living. So I'm kind of guessing that where he grew up, it was more of a small town. And then he went off to college and he realized that it's cool to be his culture. And he got to like really embrace his family's traditions. He said though that he did like fast cars. He liked the mechanics of how they worked. He said that he wanted to be a mechanic so bad. He goes, but his parents were like, but why? And he was just saying, he goes, I was also lucky because, my parents are so understanding. He goes, even when I was pushing away from them, they were patient with me. Would anybody be able to take this young gentleman? At one point, he did grow a little goatee. He was showing me kind of a little bit of a mustache, but he said that he didn't like it because when it would grow a little bit too long, it would tickle the top of his lip. He said the goatee was cool though. How he's showing me him dressed, he's wearing like a gray hoodie. I can see some like white writing on the front of it, but I can't really make it out. He's got jeans on and white running shoes.
Okay, no one's sort of taking this person, the spirit. Did you want to recap the child? We have a bunch of people that joined in the group.
Okay. So the first, our first guest tonight, he's a little boy. I would put him, well, I would say between 4 and 5, but when I asked him his age, he held up his hands and goes like this, 4, and he was like trying to count. He's a beautiful little boy. He has a little bit longer hair. It comes to his chin. It's lighter brown. It looks a little bit curly. He's wearing a blue hoodie, and he's wearing shorts, and he has little running shoes on that they're black, but they light up on the back, and the light is kind of like a red. He was holding a Thomas the Tank Engine toy and a little Bluey, the dog toy. He has really rosy cheeks, just the chubbiest little cheeks that make his eyes look a little bit more oval. His eyes are a little bit darker. He's just a beautiful little boy. He was showing me that one of his favorite places to go was a park, and I do believe that this park had kind of like a splash park area, because he was showing me this little area where it looked like a bunch of squares and where the water would shoot up. He thought that was so funny. He does show me, and I believe this is his mother. She has blonde hair. It's kind of curly like his. And when I say curly, like not tight ringlets, but kind of like that crimped look.
Maybe wavy?
Yeah, wavy. Thank you. I was seeing her kind of laying on the couch with him and just kind of like rubbing his back. He shows me, he says, my mom he goes like this. She'd put he's saying it was cold on his forehead, because I feel that he had fevers quite often. He does say that he's not sick anymore. So I do feel that he might have passed of an illness.
Okay. And what I wanted to say is, I think, hold on a second. I'm going to see. Excuse me. So Cindy in the group said, sounds like my husband, except the family part. So I think that was the person you were talking about before you recapped the little kid.
Okay. Except family. Cindy, would you be able to just kind of elaborate about the family part? Like, are you meaning that they weren't very traditional themselves, or?
Yeah, it's better if you're super specific. Be as specific as you can, Cindy. So she's in the group, so I'm just waiting for her to answer.
Sure. I could do a quick little recap on him. So what I was being made feel that like he was born in the States, just because where he kept on saying he was like all American. I do feel that I'm not too sure if it was his parents or possibly his grandparents that immigrated to the States, but in their family, it was like kind of, they tried to keep their traditions like strong. I do feel that at a point in his life, and he's saying kind of more like elementary, like not early elementary, but more like when he was around 10 to about, I want to say 16-ish. I feel that he might have got kind of bullied because like where his mom would make more traditional dishes, and other kids be like, oh, what's that, and where he kind of tried to shy away from that to kind of be more like everyone else. But it was more when he went off to college that he was able to realize that, he comes from a very rich background and culture, and he was able to embrace that more. He said that he's just saying, he goes, I do have a healthy balance of both. So he says that even though it was hard having to deal with that when he was younger, he was able to appreciate it now because it taught him how to like just have that like that balance,
So she said, not from out of the USA. I don't think she said that he's from the out of the USA, and he had a mom and dad but divorced. You didn't say he was from outside the USA, did you?
No, I felt he was born in the USA. It was his.
That's what I thought.
Parents.
And then she said, his mom. Hold on, I'm trying to bring the message over. Okay, so his parents. Shoot, I didn't bring it over. It's mom had a mental breakdown when he was 4. Not rich at all.
Oh, so, I didn't say he was rich. When I said rich, I meant like he was able to appreciate the richness of his culture. And what I meant by that is not money wise. It's just he was able to embrace and appreciate his traditions.
Okay, so she misunderstood. And you definitely said, I heard you say that he was born in the U.S. for sure.
Yes, because that's what he made very clear. Would you understand?
But you're from Canada, so she may not know that. Sarah is in Canada, so she might need to know that. Like he might be making. Yeah, exactly. Courtney's like she definitely meant rich in culture. I agree, Courtney. Yeah. Courtney's backing you up. She understood you,
Courtney. Would you understand? Did your husband like to? Like he had an interest in vehicles, like cars, kind of like how they worked, and they're cool. They're cars. I'm a woman. I can appreciate a cool car. I do feel that he goes, I'm a smart guy. He goes, but everyone's smart. He goes, okay, maybe not everyone, but I feel that like he's very particular in what he says, because I think just like where he dealt with so much perceived stereotypes in his younger.
So it sounds like his mom and dad were not together when he passed, I guess, or when they passed. I would imagine they went before him. No real traditions, no close family from outside the U.S.
Oh, okay. Well, that's totally fine. He might be for someone else.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. She said that he, Cindy said he was a mechanic and he had our own shop for a knit.
Okay, and would you be able to take, like, did he wear glasses? So he was showing me like more rounder glasses, but then again, when he came in, he looked, I would have put him in his like early mid-20s, and that does not mean that it isn't him. Sometimes our loved ones will show up at a different age. My son does it a lot. He'll come in as a 7-year-old.
It's usually their favorite time in life, like when they were at their height of whatever. All right. Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to ask if he has any messages in general. Uh, so I feel this message is kind of like for everyone. He's just saying, he goes, you know what? Don't be confined in stereotypes. He says, don't let others tell you what you should be just because what they perceive you to be. He says, you know, take charge of your life. He said, go for your dreams.
She said yes off and on with the glasses, and she met him at 21 when she was 18.
Okay. Would you be able to understand, like, for him, he kind of gives me this, like, almost like a shyness, but he wasn't afraid to, like, stand his ground and speak his mind.
Almost.
He just wants you to know that, you know, he loves you very much. He goes, but he goes, she doesn't need a medium to tell her that. He's saying that you always knew.
She said that he did hate being stereotyped as a mechanic.
Oh, wow.
So maybe the message matches. She said that he was a loner, I guess, when he was younger, because she said that he spoke more when he got older.
It's kind of like he stepped into his own, is what I'm really getting from him and feeling. So his message is just, he's like, you know what? He goes, don't just, he says, I'm going to say the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. He says, and I hope you can take this, but his words, he goes, open the damn book and read it before you can make a decision. I think he's being metaphorically, like, as in with all of us, with like meeting new people and that, you know, he says, for all you know, that he goes, that kid that has like 1 million face piercings and tattoos, he goes, could be the sweetest person ever. And he goes, you never, okay, so he's being really funny too, because he mentions a kid. And then also
she's laughing. She's saying our oldest is the same way. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm just going to say it because I learned to just trust spirit and say what they say. So after he said about the kid with like the piercings and everything, he goes, everyone would judge him, but he goes, look at Dahmer. He looked like an average normal guy, and he wasn't. He goes, he goes, oh, sorry. He goes, was that too much? He just says that he loves you very much. He loves all of your children. So would you understand him saying for you to tell them, Dad still sees what you do. Respect your mom. Listen to her.
She just asked if he had anything about his kids. See, he can hear your message faster than I can get it to Sarah. So that's what he had to say to the kids. Say it again.
He's saying, he's pointing. He goes, Dad still hears and sees everything. Respect and listen to your mom. He says, just grow up and be good people. He goes, speak your truth when you need to, but don't be quick to judge, because you never know what anyone else is going through. And he goes, and I do wish that people would have been a little bit more kinder to my children and my wife after I passed. I do feel that maybe he's just meaning that, you know, people with their well-meaning advice. He says, just take it with a grain of salt. He goes, they don't know what it's like. But he says, and besides, I'm very much around. It's my home. But he's sending kisses. And would you understand him going like this? So he goes like that, and then he goes like that. And he's like, he goes, or however the kids do it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to thank him for coming through.
She said, I will tell them. I will tell them. She said only one showed at the funeral. So, well, funerals are, I don't know. Anyway, okay. We got to finish up. I got to finish up tonight. And, because it's just that time.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
Okay.
fine. I just want to say thank you again for everyone to come tonight and support. I know I wasn't really on my game tonight, but
Oh, you did pretty good. I
thank
thought you
you.
did pretty good. There's a couple things, but we understand that. So what you should understand, and this is a great example if you go back and watch some of Sarah's other lives, is that when a person is struggling with any kind of grief or any kind of what we call lower vibrating emotions, so that's sadness, grief, depression, anger, it's harder for them to connect. So you may not get messages from your loved one, or may not notice them, or misinterpret things, or miss things altogether when you're in grief. Okay, so just so you know, that happens sometimes, and it doesn't mean that they're not with you. It just means that it's hard to hear them when they're vibrating up here and you're down here. It's sort of like trying to hear someone on the top of a building. You can't quite hear what they're saying. So, and I think that's probably what's going on for you, Sarah, and it's okay. Because everybody gets to see that you're human. And that's what I always like to remind us all, that mediums are not some sort of magical creature or something that is connected to God and, we're 1,000% right. Please understand that no medium is 100% right. All of us are more like 70 to 75% accurate. And we have to filter the messages through ourselves. So always remember that, even if you're not talking to Sarah, even if you're getting a reading from some other medium I don't even know, just keep that in mind, okay? And you even are interpreting messages from your loved ones through yourself. So that's why we tend to project onto people like they're mad at us or they're frustrated with us or whatever when they're on the other side. That's actually not true. They're not human. They don't feel those feelings anymore. So on that note, I would invite anyone that got a reading tonight and enjoyed it. Cindy did say it was awesome to hear from my husband. He left home 4 years ago today. So it's an anniversary date. So that also makes sense. And a lot of people are like, you're awesome. Amanda Thrasher said, you guys are awesome no matter what. Stephanie said you were amazing. And Lynette said the messages were beautiful. And Cindy definitely said thank you. And just to keep in mind, that Cindy today is an anniversary date. So that would also make your husband more likely to come through. Although that's not guaranteed. Sometimes we have to book a private reading, or they just want privacy for whatever reason. Maybe it's the messages they have to bring through to you are more private and they don't want it broadcasted online. So I invite you to write a review, though, if you got a reading today. Try to write a review in the group for Sarah. And or maybe you refer a friend to Sarah, or maybe you get a reading with Sarah. So I'm sorry that you're in a lot of grief right now, Amanda Thrasher. Stay with us in this group and we'll try to help lift you up. We're a community here, and we try to lift each other up. So I hope that you'll meet with us in other lives throughout the month. We try to have them on a regular basis, so you should be able to see us on a regular basis. And Sandy said thank you, loved hearing all the messages, hugs to you, and have a good night. So did you have anything you want to say, Sarah?
I just want to say how much, I appreciate each and every one of you, as I say every time, but I can't say it enough to where I feel it's really driven home. Even tonight, listening to the messages from your loved ones, especially with the one with the rise up, I get it, because today my vibration is lower. And it just gives you that hope that, it's going to be okay. So thank you again, everyone, for your support and your patience. Thank you to your loved ones for coming through and making this happen. And for anyone who watches this later, I just want to say again, if the child that I brought through earlier is your son, just know that he's okay. He wants his mommy to know he's okay. And feel free, if you recognize him, to message me. Okay. Anyways, thank you all again. I hope you have a blessed evening or day wherever you are.
And make sure you listen to Rise Up too, Sarah. All right.
Well,
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Oops.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.